Yo, someone tell Nico that they're hiring at McDonald's, cause this man is useless in this chapter. Luckily, the Lohan agenda lives to see another week. But man, it's a cold shower for people who thought the verse was catching up to Wulong really anytime soon. But let's just go straight into the chapter, which starts and has the title of Wulong versus Lohan. Straightforward chapter, you know what you're in it here for. And it's very funny considering what actually happens like midway through the chapter, because I thought maybe the title was deceiving, but no, it wasn't. We pick up right where we left off in the last chapter, and that is Lohan. He gets up from his chair from after memorizing some of Wulong's techniques, and he says, "It's time to die, original, like this is your day." Very confident in the way that he speaks here. And Nico, he's still at the background. He's saying, look, before we ever did this betrayal or got the memories, we had no chance, even on a 2v1. This is going to be very important for what happens in the later part of the chapter. We stood no chance, even in a 2v1 situation. And so Nico is kind of interested at, okay, how does it look now? Because as we'll find out later on in the chapter, they're not ready for what, Shen Wulong just did right now, obviously. But then we have Wulong and Lohan sort of say, hey, let's get out, let's not fight in this cramped room, let's not make any chaos for the people that live here and the owners of this house, because they're merely renting, right? And Wulong is like, yeah, don't want any innocent people hurt. And they go out on their merry way, with Nico sort of looking at them as they leave, and he's going to follow them, of course. But they find a place that was abandoned because the place got burned down. Ever since then, it's just been neglected. So you have basically a huge area of open space conveniently available for the fight that they actually want to have. And Wulong's like, yeah, probably won't bother anyone while we're here. And Lohan's like, I wonder how much you're going to actually keep that confidence. And Wulong is like, okay, let's just get this over and done with, bruh. But Lohan does a very funny trick, and this is where he's like, wait, there's no need to rush anything. First of all, let's play a little pregame, a little warm-up for you. First, you'll fight those guys that are behind you. And Wulong, and this is gonna be very important, he looks back, because he's like, who are you talking about? And Lohan, he's pointing. There's no one there. And Lohan tries to take that opportunity to get a sneak attack. This works abysmally. He does not get a single shot off on Shen Wulong. And Wulong, he gets a complete counter. This man ran into his second backhand in the series and is sent flying again. Just like the first time, my man is just on the floor, bap, 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 rolling like a bum. But what's very interesting is looking at Shen Wulong's reaction, because you would think him having countered Lohan the way he did means that he was onto Lohan's trick, but instead we see a very different reaction from Shen Wulong. Wulong's like, hey, there's no one here, bro. And when he looks back, he's like, whoops, guess I hit you too hard. And this is a very interesting scene because there are two ways I can see this. The first one, and this is probably the tame explanation, right? The reason why he's surprised, or he says, oops, is because, as he says in the next line, guess I hit you too hard. So maybe more power behind that punch than he originally intended. The second one is where things get a lot more wacky, and that is the fact that Shen Wulong can basically hit you out of mere instinct, even though he is not actually paying attention at all. But after this, Wulong, he's a bit worried for Lohan. He's like, okay, are you still alive after that? Because that was a pretty powerful punch, or at least he seems to think it might be powerful enough to actually kill Lohan. But Lohan, he gets up and he's actually thrilled because it didn't hurt one bit, is what he says. Now we do see that there is some bruises on his face, but considering that this slap is actually meant to kill him, judging by Shen Wulong's reaction, he's not bleeding like he was the first time he got slapped across the parking lot. So there's huge progression, but what is this progression? And we get the explanation, and that is the fifth connector actually developed the ultimate form of Ha Jin. And Hajin actually allows for deflecting, and it's so effective that you can use it against a person who is using a spear and come out unscratched, which is exactly what the 5th connector or the 50th Shen Wulong actually did. So we're already seeing the wisdom of the other Shen Wulongs coming into play here. But that saved Shen Wulong's life and he is thrilled about it. He's like, brilliant, the memories, the martial arts is brilliant. Now if you think he's happy in this chapter, I'll have the drafts up. My man has a full Jesus pose. He's happy. And honestly, this is kind of impressive considering he's only really memorizing them so far. We haven't seen him actually put these techniques to use beyond, like, let's say what happened with the consecutors, but even then, Lohan has gotten some impressive progress. But Shen Wulong's pointing out to him, he's like, look, I don't want to be that guy. But Lohan did say that he hasn't actually completed all of the memorization. So Wulong's like, okay, look, I know all the martial arts, right? They're all memorized for me. That means that you're probably gonna lose, dog. You know, no, don't want to rain on your parade, but you're running into a guaranteed L if you're happy about that. But then we have Nico stepping into the scene and he just straight up says, I know I can't sneak attack, so I might as well just come for you out in the open because there's really no difference. Now, I'm guessing the reason he's saying that is because he saw what Lohan tried to do. He saw his ass get slapped across the field, through the rubble, through the garbage, and was like, nah fam, I can't take any more oral losses like that. These people already think I'm a bum. But as he's saying that, Lohan is like, alright, you got me at a really unexpected time, so I'm going to have to do what I have to do, right? Like, Nico is it. That's all I have with me right now. And I can't really match you one-on-one. I can admit it. But what about two-on-one with someone who also has the memories as well? So they're going to try and jump him, which somehow everyone that tries to do this needs to learn the same lesson. You can't jump Shen Wulong. It's not possible. We've seen this being attempted several times at this point, but every group wants to learn the hard way. And we have Shen Wulong. He hears this and he stares for a while because there's that moment where he's like, really? And this might tie into why Shen Wulong doesn't think Lohan is his guy. Because after he's stared blankly for a while, he sighs and it's a cold panel after that. Like, the background is black and he just says one word, pathetic. And wow, the impact of this panel. Because remember, I'm a Lohan stockholder. This hit my soul. Because first of all, he's not at the place he needs to be yet. Seems like he's getting help from Nico. And the disrespect that's flowing out of Shen Wulong, rightfully so, is a bit disheartening. But it doesn't stop there. Because after he says that, Lohan and Nico, they charge at him. And in the next panel, because they're coming at him from two opposite angles, we see Shen Wulong. He manages to punch Lohan in the face clean. The craziest part, because that's not the craziest part. The craziest part is that he deflects Nico and sends him back. But he's so irrelevant to the situation at hand that Wulong isn't even looking at it. He's not even in the panel. Let that sink in. He's not in the panel. The next time we see this man Nico, he's way back. And I know some people think, oh, he didn't move. No, he moved. Literally, Shen Wulong's hand moves behind him. This man tried to go at him from behind and failed dismally. McDonald's is hiring. Nico needs to go there instead of trying to help this alliance to which he has not contributed a single thing to. And as he tries to get up again, Nico's trying to get up after, getting blown back again because Sandrovich is trying to save him by not showing him rolling on his ass. Wulong's like, Nico, stay over there. Bruh, there's a lot of people that want to kill you, that really want to beat your ass up, so I'm not gonna do that. I don't want to do that. so I won't harm you. That probably comes at the condition of you don't want any more smoke, otherwise Wulong will probably just kill him. But he does say, if you want to challenge me, you're gonna have to beat the guys that are knocking on your door first. And it is at this point where what Nico said at the beginning of the chapter is coming up now, because he's like, wow, you're telling me that even with the memories, the gap is still this wide? The answer to that question is yes. They can't 2v1 him even after memorizing Shen Wulong's own martial arts. After imprinting it on their own brains, they are still in a hopeless situation even though the martial arts themselves are broken. The gap between Shen Wulong and these guys is still astronomical. Because I want you to understand what's happened here. Because this is a long chapter review and breakdown as well. He's hit Lohan twice, and he's holding him by the collar. This man looks like he's fighting for his consciousness to stay up. He's holding him out. Nico instantly got taken care of in one deflect that Shen Wulong wasn't even paying attention to. And that's it. That's all she wrote so far in the chapter. Broken is the word you use to describe how powerful Shen Wulong is. But moving on from that, Shen Wulong, he's holding Lohan up by his collar. My man can't even stand up on his legs. Man is coughing out, trying to stay conscious, looking at him. And Lohan, or Wulong, he, starts telling Lohan what's up. He's like, look dog, I told you not to mess with my friends. I know you have people who are probably, or he seems to talk about it with certainty, he knows Lohan has people following Yamashita. And he knows how important Yamashita is, considering the conflict that he has currently with the Kengan Association, which Yamashita is a part of. And he says if he's assassinated or killed, the worm and him will be the first suspects, which will basically throw off everything that Shen Wulong is trying to do here, which he doesn't want any more smoke than what he has to deal with right now. And he finally caps that off with saying you can mess with him all he wants. Because of course he'll never get anywhere with Shen Wulong at this rate. But he says, don't touch my friend. So Shen Wulong, fighting for the homies is basically what this is right now. This does go to show that Lohan probably might wanted to use, people that Shen Wulong might care about either as leverage or to make an uncontrollable mess around Shen Wulong. What I talked about in the last chapter, one of the possibilities is that he makes the entire thing just a complete mess and he tries to take advantage of the chaos. And so that might have actually been a part of his actual preparations here. We're not sure, but chances are that might be what Lohan was trying to do. But while he's saying this, Shen Wulong, he's charging up a punch and he says, you've pissed me off for the last time. And the punch that he's throwing kind of looks like Rakash's palm, but it's a straight punch, probably a form that Shen Wulong uses from his martial arts. But then we get narration that says who knows how long it had been since Shen Wulong punched with the intent to kill. So Shen Wulong wants to kill Lohan right there, right now. The third punch is gonna be it. Now that just goes to show Shen Wulong is pissed. This also goes to show that every single time we've seen this person punch, although specifically against, of course, Gaio Mokaku here, because I don't think he used that against Kuroki Gensai. That means that with Gaio Mokaku, there was no intent to actually kill him from the blows, even though he was suppressed. Lohan is the only person right now that is, and this probably has to do a lot more with emotion, but I'm sure power does play a factor here. But as the punch is going in, we see Shen Luohan do something, and it seems like it's a deflect of some sort. We see two motions basically that make the wapa sound, but what this does is that it saves his ass, because it seems like he breaks free from Shen Wulong's grab, and he may have deflected the punch as well, but we're not too sure about that. Nico is surprised because he thought Lohan was finished. I thought Lohan was finished. I thought my stocks were done. Wulong, however, he seems a lot more captivated, because he then says in the next panel, I've never seen that before. What was that, Lohan? So Lohan didn't use a technique that he got from Shen Wulong. Or, because it could be the Nico style, and that might be the reason why Nico is surprised or greatly surprised. Or it could be that Lohan is innovating with Shen Wulong's martial arts. But Lohan's reply here is that haven't you heard or read shonen manga before? He's like, this is what they call a last minute awakening. So it seems like something clicked for Shen Luohan here that wasn't clicking before. We'll see in the next chapter because the chapter kind of ends there. But yeah, Lohan possibly getting some second wind, but it's gonna be very interesting how far he can go and how much this awakening actually just helps him to at least survive this encounter. Cause best case scenario, Shen Wulong spares him cause he's interested at what Lohan can do with his martial arts. But if Lohan is actually planning to harm Shen Wulong's friends, it might not even matter. This man could be dead in the next chapter or 2 or 3. But what a chapter. It's good to see Lohan, you know, one, he plays dirty of course, given his situation. But now we might actually get a pretty good showcase of what Shen Luohan is capable of, possibly in the future of this story. So yeah, that's the review and breakdown. Don't forget to like and sub, and until next time, take it easy.